No mother wants to parade her child through their, educational system. I think every mother would either rather stay at home with their child or have the appropriate care for them, but it wasn't something that I was able to do. So we sat in the A wing by the big window, and that's what we did on a daily basis. 9 months pregnant, walking through the hallways, I got called slut. People just don't understand that, the situation that women are going through when they have to go, back to school and they are 9 months pregnant, and then after they have their kids, and they have to sort of wear that issue on their sleeve almost.
For Laura Herbert, the balance between attending post-secondary and having a child forced her to face the reality of Canada's social programs. What she found was startling.
When I went to Mohawk College, financial aid, and I told them about my situation, I was told that my pregnancy was a condition and not a disability. Therefore, there was no provision within OSAP to assist me. But this was my child. I was going to finish school, and nobody was going to deter me from that.
Childcare across Canada is a patchwork. So if you imagine a patchwork quilt where there's some childcare in some places, it's good quality, in some places it's only available for people who can afford it, in some places the fees are very variable, the training, everything about it is a patchwork. Just imagine that, and that's what it looks like across Canada.
My mom, she ended up buying a bigger house that we could all live together, and not pay as much rent, so that we could put that money towards me going to school, and not have to suffer through going to food banks and maybe subpar living conditions. So without that support, it just wouldn't have happened.
It wasn't supposed to be this way. Prior to 2006, a plan had been agreed to with the former government to bring in a long overdue national childcare program. But the Conservative government was quick to change this.
We lost the strategy because the Harper government was elected, and it was the first thing that they did as a government. I mean, they practically walked out of the swearing in, and they walked to the microphone and said, we are canceling all the agreements with the provinces, and that was it. It's put families back in Canada at least 20 years, because it's not only that the program that was put in place previously was canceled, it's just that things are falling apart, and good services are closing down because they don't have enough money.
The absence of childcare strategy is not a question of lack of money, but a question of priorities. Canada's largest corporations enjoy low tax rates that have given them assets of $526 billion. Canada's biggest banks just recorded a third quarter income of $7.8 billion.
In my experience, I was very naive to the realities of the childcare situation in Hamilton. I didn't realize that there wasn't going to be infant space for him. I didn't realize that a wait list meant, waiting 2 years.
Children are vulnerable people. They rely on adults for their education, basically on their families. But as a society, we're benefiting from women being in the labor force, and so it becomes kind of incumbent upon societies to make sure that that happens so that children are well taken care of.
Your mental health is definitely impacted. There's times where you go through depression and anxiety, and there's a lot of, okay, what if I get fired? What if his dad gets fired? There's just so many uncertainties with not having that support.
The Harper government would present themselves as being a family-friendly government, but I think that they're the most family-unfriendly government that I could imagine because of these things, the things that families need on a daily basis. They need jobs, they need income, they need support, they need health care, they need housing, they need childcare.
According to a study published by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, women on their own are the poorest of the poor. Laura's greatest fear is being sucked into this cycle of poverty, so she launched a campaign, an advocacy group, to fight for better options for mothers and fathers in her situation.
He's just the love of my life. he has pushed me to being a better person. He's pushed me to wanting to help other women who go through this issue that don't have the support of family, that don't have the support of spouses, of, you know, their child's father, to sort of identify that the government needs to step up, that we need help. It takes a village to raise a child. And I think we've lost sight of that community-based care for one another. And he helped me realize that. And, you know, every day I look at him and I thank him.